What if I told you that just 72 acres of land in the Caribbean shook the most powerful people on Earth? Little St. James, a private island, a billionaire's playground, and, according to federal investigators, the center of one of the most disturbing sex trafficking cases in modern history. For years, it looked like a paradise. Private jets landing, luxury villas glowing at night, politicians, billionaires, celebrities stepping off what the media later nicknamed the Lolita Express. But behind the champagne and palm trees, something far darker was happening. The silence breaks in 2005, while many victims were still afraid to speak, a teenager named Courtney Wild walked into a Florida police station. She accused Jeffrey Epstein of sexual abuse. That single report cracked open a wall of silence. Investigators began digging, and what they found was disturbing. Flight logs, contact lists filled with powerful names, photographs, testimonies from multiple underage girls. The case grew larger than anyone expected. The man behind the curtain. Who was Jeffrey Epstein? Not born into wealth, not a royal, not a political dynasty, just a former math teacher who somehow entered the world of Wall Street elites. Within years, he was managing money for billionaires, owning mansions in Manhattan, estates in New Mexico, a Paris apartment, and that private island in the Caribbean. How did he rise so fast? Where did his fortune truly come from? Even today, many financial details remain unclear. The 2008 deal then came the first shock. In 2008, Epstein struck a controversial plea deal. Instead of life in prison for federal sex trafficking charges, he received just 18 months, with work release privileges. Victims were not properly informed. Prosecutors later faced heavy criticism. Many believe this was the moment the system failed. The island rumors. Now, this is where fact and rumor begin to mix. Court documents confirm underage girls were trafficked and abused. That is documented. But over the years, the internet filled with darker claims, secret temples, hidden tunnels, satanic rituals, global blackmail networks. Federal searches did uncover unusual structures and extensive surveillance cameras. But there is no verified evidence proving ritual sacrifices or cannibalism. That distinction matters, because in high-profile crimes, rumor spreads faster than fact. The second arrest, in 2019, new investigative reporting exposed flaws in the 2008 deal. Public outrage exploded. Epstein was arrested again, this time on federal sex trafficking charges. This time, no easy escape. Powerful people around the world must have felt the pressure, because if he spoke in court, how many names would follow? The death that changed everything. Then came August 10th, 2019. Jeffrey Epstein was found dead in a New York jail cell. Official ruling, suicide. But that night raised questions. Security cameras malfunctioned. Guards reportedly fell asleep. He had previously been on suicide watch, and then removed. To some, it was negligence. To others, it felt impossible. And just like that, the man at the center of the storm was gone. The bigger question: Jeffrey Epstein is dead, but the network, the power structures, the unanswered financial mysteries, the sealed documents, still there. Some files have been released. Millions of pages remain partially sealed or redacted. Every time new court documents surface, headlines shake governments. But the full truth is still incomplete. Final thought. This story isn't about demons. It isn't about supernatural evil. It's about power, money, influence, and what happens when accountability collides with elite protection. So the real question isn't, was the island cursed? The real question is, how many systems failed before the world finally looked closer? And how much of the truth is still locked away?